a clinical nutritionist, and I struggled with my health when I was younger, and I figured out the missing pieces, and I was able to recover from some real severe conditions that I was told I couldn't. I had to take medication, but that wasn't the answer I was looking for. And so I did ask the right questions. I found them after some time, and now I've created a program that will help basically transform your body into where you want to go and your life. So today we're going to dive into the mindset and how when we have this healthy mindset, it will actually spearhead our way into healthy habits to move forward in your health goals. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop talking about this, and I'm going to go right into the training right now. Okay, and I will be stopping periodically. So if you have any questions, write them down or hang on to them, and then when I open up the lines again, I'll be looking for them. Okay. So here we go. So happy I'm able to share my screen because, again, I took quite a bit of time with this one. Okay, so what we're going to learn today is we're going to learn how to instantly shift your mindset to make healthy choices. Okay, and what you're going to learn today, more specifically, is the connection between our decisions and our identity, our self-identity. We're also going to learn which 4 different personality types describes you when it comes to trying to make a healthy habit. Okay, and then we're going to learn why the environment influences your habits, and then how to reframe failure and become unstoppable. So we're going to go to the first one. Okay. Just so you know, this is a really important topic because if we look at the world affairs, we actually have discovered that a poor diet increases your risk of dying quite dramatically from heart disease, more specifically heart disease, stroke, and diabetes. So what we know is your food choices can have a profound impact on how long you will live and also the quality. Okay, so this was a study that was done really recently in the Cleveland Clinic in Nature. And this was May 19th, 2021. So it's just pretty recent. And what they found was this is crazy, more than 2/3 of heart disease related deaths worldwide can be linked to what you eat, your food choices, okay? According to a study published last year, the authors estimated 6 million deaths could have been avoided with just a better diet. Listen, we got to eat anyway. Why don't we choose foods that are going to support our health? Why do we keep falling off track and having foods that aren't supporting our health? Okay, because it's really causing damage. Healthy lifestyle choices reduce the stroke risk. Get this, 80%. The risk of stroke, 80% with a healthy lifestyle. Okay, and diet was identified as the leading factor when it came to healthy lifestyle choices. It was the diet that was the most profound, that we need to, turn around and be healthy. And so this is really quite amazing. Poor dietary habits contribute to almost half of more than 700,000 deaths reviewed as part of a study published in 2017. The deaths were caused, again, the 3 top deaths that are completely tied to a poor diet are heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes. These are very preventable if we eat the right foods. Why aren't we eating the right foods? Because we know what the foods are. We know like fruits and vegetables are going to be healthy for you. We know that processed food isn't, but why do we keep eating these kind of foods? Like, why do we keep doing this? Okay. And I'm actually going to stop the share and I'm going to ask you, why do you think people aren't jumping on the healthy bandwagon and knowing that poor food choices are, causing these issues? Why do you think people keep eating poorly, even though they know they shouldn't be eating poorly? Why do you think they're doing that? What's the reason? Doesn't make sense. 88% of the population, that's a lot. Any ideas? No ideas? Okay, I'm going to go to why. All right. And I think I lost think I lost Rona. Yeah, I did. Okay, so we're going to go to why influence. Okay, here we go. So Joanne's come up with a really good idea, and she's saying it's influenced by chemicals in the food. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, because chemicals do hijack your mind. They do. That's a really good correlation. Absolutely, that's great. The chemicals, yeah, that's good. Anyone else have any ideas? Here we go, Tamara. So time. So people are lacking time, lack of knowledge, okay, lack of money, and the addictive things in foods. Again, the chemicals are hijacking the brains. They have little time, so they're scrambling. They actually maybe don't know how to eat, and lack of money. Okay, no, those are really valid. I love that. Anyone else? Those are great. Okay, so I'm going to go to, those are great. I'm going to go to the why that I have. Okay, so one sec. Okay, here's the why. And I'm wondering how to change this to, okay. So Hippocrates kind of mentioned it really well. He kind of wrapped it up. It's more important to know what sort of a person has a disease than to know what sort of a disease a person has. So basically, we're going to want to know who are you? Really, it's about understanding what drives your food decisions. And to know that, we need to know kind of who we are. And today, I'm going to not really be talking so much about tactics as far as what foods to eat, how to live, and how to move to be healthy, but more about the mindset, more about the psychology. Okay. And if you want to know about the tactics on how to actually do the body transformation, we are doing a free training, a webinar tomorrow, my husband and I, Thursday at 6 p.m. And we're going to actually walk you through more of the tactics on how to transform your body. And that's tomorrow. I'll send the link below. But really today is all about psychology. We're going to learn, first of all, who you are. Okay. And so we're going to want to do a self-assessment. Okay. We're going to know who you are. Okay. And so just so you know, this, what you're going to learn today really does work when it comes to psychology. So I'm just going to share my personal body transformation. I actually was afraid of food. I was afraid of eating. I was afraid that I would gain weight. And so on the left here, you'll see when I was super skinny, I was basically starving myself to be thin. And I was afraid whatever I would eat, I would gain weight. And so it took me an understanding of myself and really looking at the dark side and understanding, why am I so afraid of food? Where is this coming from? And once I started to really look at the dark side, I really did. And because I didn't like myself, I didn't like who I was becoming. I was tired all the time. I was grumpy. I was moody. And I wasn't the person I wanted to be at all. And I was afraid of food. And food, I would think about food all the time. Okay. And it was my biggest fear. So I lived in fear and thinking about food all the time. It was horrible. And that wasn't how I wanted to live. Okay. It was just like, who would like to live that way? I was living that way for decades. But I did 100% life turnaround. I literally turned it all around with my own body transformation. And what happened was when I was starving myself, I developed a very severe condition called osteoporosis. Plus, I had no menstrual cycle. I was basically wasting away. But anyways, after I started to look at myself and look at the psychology behind, why am I so afraid of food? And around like, what is it about I don't like about myself I don't like? You know, who do I want to be? Then as I shifted my mindset, then I was able to start to eat properly and not be afraid of food and look at food completely differently. And now I am making healthy choices. I have a healthy relationship with food, and it's automatic. It's totally automatic. So I literally went from starving myself, thinking about food all day, right? Living in fear, right? To being fit and healthy over 50. In fact, I'm 55 next month. And I am just so on top of the world. I'm living my dream life. And listen, I want to give you these tactics so that you don't have to struggle for all the time that I did. Decades and decades of suffering. But hey, it was a reason. Now I can share it with you and go, listen, if I can do it, I'm going to show you how you can do it as well. Okay, because we all need more healthy people. Don't you agree? So I know what it feels like to feel sick. I know what it feels like to feel freaking amazing. And this is what we're here to do, is feel freaking amazing. Where do we start? Where do we start creating these healthy habits? Well, we start with us. We start with knowing ourselves. We start with knowing like more about us. If you look at your actions, what's behind the actions? It's always your thoughts. Okay. So Socrates just nailed it. It's not the disease, it's who's behind the disease. Okay. So disease doesn't just happen overnight. They are action steps that drive your body to a disease. But where are the thoughts behind all this? Okay. So we have to know ourselves. Okay. And that does unfortunately mean looking at the dark side. And this is what I did. I literally looked in the mirror and said, I don't like what I see. And I want to change this. And this isn't what I like, but this is what I like. And so one day at a time, I totally turned it around into somebody who I'm actually proud of. Okay. And who I am proud to be a role model to my children, because that's so important. So we're going to find out more about you. Because that's my personal story. I hopefully you're inspired by that. And I want to start by having you discover more of who you are. Okay. And so we're going to basically talk about 4 different personality types that describes when you're trying to make a habit change, what's behind, what is your thought pattern behind wanting to make a habit change. Okay. And then basically how successful you're going to be. So basically, we're going to use the analogy of baseball. And you'll see as I go, we're going to look through 4 different personality types, and I'm going to ask you which one fits you more, okay? So we're going to look at, here we go, heavy hitters. So these are the kind of individuals who go all in. Listen, I want to transform my body. I'm going to, go on a strict diet. I'm going to exercise every day. I'm going to give up all of my alcohol, all of my treats, all of my sugar. I'm going to do it all today. Okay. That's awesome. I am so like that. That's a good thing to do, is to be so excited and passionate about your goal. But what happens is, see, that's really good, but they take on too much all at once. And then what happens is they're overwhelmed, because then other things start to slide. Just like what Tamara was saying, time is a factor. And if you put too much time into doing too many things, then you're not going to be likely successful. And these habits, they fall off the rails, right? Because you're just going too strong. So the heavy hitters, yeah, they're out there, they're 100% in, but then they fall off, right? And these are the ones like, to hear of yo-yo dieting, this would be one good example. Yo-yo dieting, you're going too hard at the start, too many things, okay? So basically, that's a good thing, but we need to take a step back and go, listen, what is the most important thing to do that's going to make the biggest difference? So this is where you want to go with, if you have this personality type, then this is something I want you to consider is, okay, what's the one thing that I can do that's going to make the biggest difference in reaching my health goal in the next 90 days? Okay, so that's one. Okay, so I don't know, are you a heavy hitter? Let's go to the next one. Maybe you're somebody who is looking for the perfect pitch. You are at the diamond, that I don't know, what do you call it? At the, I don't know, where you're about to hit the ball. And you've got the pitcher in front of you and you're just waiting. You're waiting for everything to be perfect. Before you take that step, before you even swing the bat, everything has to be perfect. So, you've got to have, the wind has to be perfect. The crowd can't be too big or whatever it works for you. And let's turn this around to being body transformation. Maybe you're waiting for like the perfect shoes or the perfect outfit, or you're waiting for childcare, or you're waiting to find that perfect gym, or you're waiting for something. Everything has to be all lined up before you even decide to make the start. Well, this is good in one way, because the beauty about this is you're a planner. You want to plan that everything's going to be all perfectly in place before you make your move. So we all know that if you don't plan, you fail. That one analogy where, to be able to, I don't know, you know the one I'm talking about. But anyways, the great thing about this is that's a good thing, but we can take it too far. Because what happens is we don't take any moves at all. And then we're not moving ahead at all, okay? Because everything's not perfect. And so in this circumstance, what you're going to want to think about doing is maybe just a few things, like lining up, like the most important, but then just get your head out of it and go for it anyway. Nothing is ever going to be perfect. You will never have everything perfect. So just so you know, life does not do that. Okay. Maybe it does once in a while, and that's like amazing. You probably journal about that or put like something on the calendar. But if we're waiting for the perfect scenario, you'll always wait, and then you'll never move forward. So again, this personality type is amazing because they do plan, but at the same time, typically they don't make a move. So I don't know if this describes you or not, but if it does, I would think about maybe a few things and then just moving anyway. Okay, because then you're moving ahead. Okay, now we're going to number 3. So number 3, when it comes to like using baseball as an analogy, the easy out. So these are the type of people that if things like get difficult, they're out. They're out. They look for excuses. Okay, these are the ones that use excuses all the time. So they'll start on a plan, but as soon as it gets difficult and it gets uncomfortable, they back off, and then they don't go move ahead. And so if this describes you, what I would suggest is get comfortable being uncomfortable. And once you do more of that, you're going to build your confidence to go, listen, I know I can do it. Okay. So, because I've been uncomfortable before and I've got through it, well, I'm going to do it again. And this is how you move away from fear and into freedom. This is actually how I was able to recover from my eating disorder by just doing one baby step at a time. And I took one baby step. I started to discover what the best foods to stay lean and build muscle. And once I started to understand those foods, I would just slowly start to eat more. It wasn't like an overnighter. No, it was slowly, one step at a time, eating a little bit more and then seeing how that felt. Eating a little bit more, seeing how that felt, right? Getting away from running chronic cardio and starting to go into the gym and starting to lift a weight instead of doing step classes all the time or running all the time. It was one tiny step at a time. Okay. So if you're an easy outer, then my advice to you is to feel your fear and do it anyway. Okay. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Okay. Because otherwise, what's the other side? You'll never move ahead. So those are 3 personality types. Before I get into the 4th one, I'm actually going to stop this share and I'm going to go to see if there's any questions. I'd love to know if anyone wants to share which personality type they think they are when it comes to making a change in habit. Okay. And we all tend to be some of those 3, but you're predominantly one. So if anyone wants to share who they are, and if not, that's okay. Hopefully I've opened up your eyes to, yeah, I'm the one who's all in and I overwhelm myself, or I'm actually the one who's waiting for all the ducks to be in a row before I even move forward, or you just use excuses and just give up. And that's, you know what? That's okay. These are, I call it dark sides, but it's more about knowing yourself, and maybe it's embarrassing. Maybe it is. I was embarrassed about how I was, but I didn't let that stop me. I wanted to move forward because I knew I had more to give. I knew I wasn't that person and I wanted to be someone else. Okay. And so I think it's really important to look at the dark things because that you bring the light into that, right? And maybe you are, it's interesting to hear because how you are now, you're comfortable with being who you are now. Otherwise, you wouldn't be that. So even though you don't like that part of you, but why are you still there? Because it's comfortable, right? Because it's predictable, right? And so I just encourage you, take that extra step. take that one little extra step and get comfortable being uncomfortable. Okay. And this is how you're going to create better, healthier habits, but keep them for life. All right. So I'm going to go back to the training, and hopefully I've opened up your eyes to something, maybe some aha moments about yourself. But I'm going to go back to the training. Let's go to the fourth personality type. These are the AllStars. Okay, so these are the ones that are just a good all-around player. And so this is kind of where we want to be. We actually want to, and they don't start this way. All-star players don't start this way. They don't. They actually look to see where their strengths are, where their weaknesses are, and what they do is they build on they look at their weaknesses and then they overcome them. Okay, because nobody's born an all-star. Like, are you born an all-star? No, they're not. All-stars aren't born all-star. They become all-stars because they look at, like I said, the dark side. They look at what's uncomfortable and they make it comfortable. Okay, and they look at it and they change it. So then they're way more balanced, right? And so maybe look to see, what are your daily habits like? Are you hitting the gym as much as you really know you should? Are you actually eating till you're just full, or maybe you're still overeating? Maybe you're still having that pizza night every week when you know the next day you feel like crap and it's setting you back. You feel like all puffy and inflamed and you have brain fog and you know it's setting you back. But why don't you just take that extra step and go, wait a minute, you know what? Why don't we have like healthy pizza night? Why don't we do it instead of? Why don't we get coconut or even cauliflower pizza dough and put our own toppings on, and it's a healthy pizza. And so everybody's kind of happy that way. Or maybe we're going to change it to salad and salmon night. And then add some fixings, maybe a little bit of pineapple to make it kind of fun. Pineapple and avocado and some olives. That's what I did last night with some garlic, and it was delicious. So it's really about solving a problem, but you have to know what problem to solve. So it's taking a hard look at, where is my dark side? Where am I not happy? And solving the problem. Okay. So I just want to review a little bit about how we're going to create these healthy habits. Okay. The first one is know thyself. The first one is do a self-assessment. Who are you? Are you a heavy hitter? Are you a perfect pitcher? Are you an easy outer? Or are you an all-star, right? Are you heading towards an all-star? Okay. So that's the first way that we're going to create these healthy habits and have them stick. This is how we're going to instantly shift our mindset. Knowing thyself, know who you are. Now we're going to shift to the second tip I'm going to give you to actually create these healthy habits. And that is knowing that your environment is going to completely influence your habits. Knowing the people you're surrounded by and knowing the places that you're going to. Okay. The people and the places, your environment is going to influence your habits. Okay. So whatever is happening for you right now is because of your environment. And so one good example of a maybe toxic environment would be, say you were someone who was an alcoholic, but you're constantly going to the bar. Well, the environment is creating you to be an alcoholic. So your goal then is to change your environment. Don't go to the bar, because otherwise you will never not go to the bar. You'll always be an alcoholic. So your environment will change this. So instead of going to the bar because you want to stop drinking, what about going to a juice bar? So you want to replace a bad environment with a good environment, because you're going to fill that space with something. And why don't you make it a good space? So again, the dark side is I'm an alcoholic. And the knowing thyself, when I can't go to the bar, so where can I go? Oh, I'm going to go to a juice bar. And then what you're doing is you're setting yourself up for success. And so the other thing is the people you hang out with. So, the bar, you're hanging out with bar people, they're not healthy, but juice bar people, they would be healthy. So if you want to be healthy, hang out with healthy people. So you're really shifting your environment. It doesn't mean you need to ghost all your friends, but it does mean look at the friends you have and where you're going. Change your environment, okay, into something that will make you who you want to be. Okay. So for me, I went from a running group to a gym, and I started doing strength training. And so that was one environment that I did change. The other thing you may want to think about is even just doing like in your like home environment, you know, and making this conducive to a healthy home, a wellness home. Okay. And so one idea you may want to think about is it is a change in season. Right now it's fall. It's fall, right? So in the fall, what we may want to think about doing is doing two things. The first one is do a detox. This is the perfect time for you to detox your body, because what you're doing is you're actually telling your body to do a reset. And there's great detoxes out there. I know that I do one that, you know, really does clear out the toxins from inside the cell. It gets them well so that the cells are pure, and then everything works. So if anyone here is watching this, they want to do a detox, let me know. Or you can do a detox your home. So maybe you want to do a fall cleanse. Maybe you want to freshen up the sheets. Maybe you want to do a clearing out. Maybe you want to do your last garage sale and just get rid of stuff, right? And because your environment really will be conducive to who you want to be. Maybe you want to put things by the door, like your running shoes, to know that, oh, there's my trigger. I'm going to keep these handy because when I see them, I'm going to go to the gym. Maybe you want to put up some pictures of who you want to be in your environments, or even a quote. Okay, so this is changing your environment. This is making it conducive to who you want to be. This is, it's creating the environment to success. Okay, but you do need to change. All right, you've got to take the action steps to do this. So are you finding this helpful? Just yes, no, is this making sense? Am I inspiring you? Are you getting some tips? Are you learning more about yourself? Are you wondering why sometimes you procrastinate? Maybe because maybe you're one of those personality types. Maybe everything has to be perfect. Is this making any sense at all? Is this helpful? So we're going to go on to some more juicy stuff. Okay, so I have a Facebook user, and I'd love to know who you are, because we're all friends here. And the answer is yes. Okay, well, that's good. And then I have another one, Tamara. She's saying, yes, she's learning. Thank you very much. That's great. I'm glad. Okay, so that's good. We're going to continue on. And I have another one. Joanne says yes. Oh, thank you so much, Joanne. Wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the training right now. So I'm going to share my screen. Which I'm glad I was able to get up. Boy, I was really nervous. But I went ahead anyway. Okay, so here we are. Just as a recap, we need to know ourselves. We've got four different personality types. We know the environment is going to shift ourselves into who we want to be. And now we need to know that we're going to fail. You will fail. You will have obstacles. Know that there is not a clear sailing. No, it's not. You are going to have obstacles. So just know that. Okay. And I want you to make a commitment to yourself. If this truly you want to have a body transformation and you truly want to have these healthy habits, I want you to look at the obstacles that are likely going to happen, and I want you to solve them. See yourself solving them in advance. Okay. What is your kryptonite, right? So where do you typically fall short? Where are the triggers that make you fall short? For example, say if you're somebody who wants to exercise and you can't seem to get that first call in to call a personal trainer to have them show you an exercise plan, okay? But you really want to, because you see yourself being like an athlete. You're fit. Okay, well, there's an obstacle there. So how are you going to solve it? You solve it by going, listen, you know what? I'm just going to pick up the phone and call. That's my first little baby step. I'm just going to, so get rid of the fear and do it anyway, right? Because you know, if you don't, you'll never get there. So your obstacle is you're afraid. Okay, let's move past that. And let's just pick up the phone and call a personal trainer. All right. There's nothing's bad's going to happen, right? Only good is going to come of that. So for me, my obstacle when I wanted to recover from my eating disorder, my obstacle was I was afraid of gaining weight by eating. And so what I did was I did research to find out what are the best foods where I can eat and not gain weight, where I can eat and feel good, where I can eat and have energy for the rest of the day, where I can eat and it's not going to pack on the fat around. For me, my midsection, I disliked having jiggly fat around my midsection. That was like the worst for me. It was like the worst feeling. Okay. And so oh man, I dig deep. Oh man, I did so much research. And as I was doing the research, I started to follow what I was learning. Okay. And so I cracked the code. Literally, I did. But I was vicious about trying to find the answer, and I found it. So I have no worries about food anymore because my obstacle was fear of food. I overcame it. I've solved it. Now I've got all these decades of fun to have because I solved my problem, but I knew what my problem was. So what obstacles do you have in the way of you reaching your next level? Okay. Maybe it is you're not exercising enough. Okay. Well, how are you going to solve that? Okay. Because if you don't, where's your life going to be if you don't? Really, you have to look in your future. Okay. What's your future self going to say to you? Well, you didn't do it. Okay. And that's sad because you didn't actually realize your potential. Right. And all it takes is one tiny step. Just move forward. Okay. And like I did it, you can do it too. And we're all doing it together. So you're never, ever alone. All right. So I'm going to stop this share and see if anyone has any questions on what I've just talked about, which is your obstacles. This is so important. You need to know what they are. What is stopping you from moving forward? Okay. Maybe it's time to reflect and write this down and then maybe take some time to solve it. But at least you've written it down. That's the first step. And go, okay, well, I know if I don't do this, I'm not going to get to where I want to go. So here's my obstacle. How am I going to solve it? And listen, if anyone here has if you want help moving past this obstacle, that's what I do. So I would love to help you move past that. So let's think about these things, okay? So I'm going to go back to sharing my slide and we're going to go to the next one. I'm going to make sure that we're on the right path here. Hope you guys can see what I'm seeing. I think so. I just want to make sure you guys can see my slides because I'm going to the next one. Okay, I'm going to, there we go. I know you'll be able to see it now. Okay. Okay, so you're going to have obstacles, okay? And you're going to fail. You will. You're going to fail. But here's the thing. We want you to know, have a solution in advance, okay? And so we want to practice the solution, okay? And so we want to look at this not like you're failing, but look at it like you're learning. You're actually learning. Every time that you have an obstacle or you feel like you're failing, this is where the learning comes in. This is where you become empowered because you know the obstacles, you move past them. And one thing is quite often I find is we're so fast to react to things where we don't actually take a step back. So here you are, you're getting triggered. When you get triggered, most people react instantly without taking a step back, going, wait a minute, let's have a look at this. Let's look at it the way it is. So what that physically means is anytime you get triggered, like, oh, there's some, a bunch of cookies that I want to eat. You're getting triggered to eat them. Here is a really good solution to this, okay? So that you don't move forward eating those cookies because you know it's not going to work. Stop. See yourself being triggered like a movie, like a slow motion movie. Just recognize, oh my gosh, I'm getting triggered. Oh, okay, here it comes. But you have to be mindful enough to see it. I want you to pause. Stop, pause, then react. Okay, instead of instantly reacting, no, you're stopping yourself going, wow, look at that. Oh my gosh, there it is again. There's those cookies and I want to grab them and eat the whole thing. Wow, isn't that cool? Okay, why do I want to do that? Okay, well, that's interesting. I didn't have enough lunch and I'm still hungry. Oh, okay. So my obstacle is these cookies. My solution is I need to eat more lunch so I don't want the cookies. Okay, and so you're solving your own problem in advance. So, but it takes a step back and looking at yourself like a movie. Okay. So for me, when it came to overcoming my eating disorder, I would get this instant fear of, this food's going to make me fat. So what I did was, when I learned how to eat so that I could get lean and get strong, then anytime I would get that feeling again, I would just go, wait a minute. If I eat this food, I know it's going to nourish me. It's supposed to be the food that's going to keep me lean and get me strong. I am just going to feel my fear and do it anyway. Okay. Instead of stopping and starving myself, I'm just going to eat it. And then I am going to do some self-reflection to go, okay, how does it feel? Did I, get extra fat? Do I feel like I'm getting stronger? Do I feel like I'm getting a better shape? Is my sleep better? So I would reflect on, I'm moving past my fear. I have the fear. My solution is, I'm going to eat it anyway because I know it's supposed to be, a good food for me because I've done my research. Do it anyway because I'm not going to die. Like, nothing's going to happen. I'm just going to reflect. And the more times that I went, oh, this is actually working. I'm actually fueling my body. I'm eating more food. I'm taking the step to eat my food, and I'm getting leaner and stronger, and I'm getting smarter, and this is working. Oh my gosh. Okay. But again, I saw myself like a movie going, here we go. I'm afraid again. That's okay. I have a solution because I know my obstacle. So it was hard. It was hard, but I still did it anyway. All right. It was really, really hard. So that's something you want to do, is stop, pause, and then react instead of just reacting. The other thing that is really good when it comes to, say, fear or uncomfortable situations with maybe family members or coworkers, or something that's freaking you out, a really good piece of advice is to just breathe in. Just breathe. They call it box breathing. You breathe in 4, and then you hold it for 4, and then you breathe out 4. And so this really shifts from panic to peace. It literally, it physiologically does this. It physiologically shifts your nervous system. So if you're rattled, if you are, you're in fear, you're in panic mode, one of the best things to do is breathe in, hold it, and breathe out. And then just feel the peace. Peace is going to come in. It's going to come in from panic to peace. I'm telling you, I did this for my relationships with my family members. And because, wow, I adore them and I wanted to be my best with them. And so I really worked on myself so that I was a good person to be around, so they'd want to be around me. And it worked. And so anytime I'd feel triggered, then I would do this deep breathing. And I would breathe in and then just let it go. And then really look to see what's going on. Because oftentimes it's your perception of what it is. So everybody looks at the world differently. And so when you're having conversations with some people, they look at the whole conversation differently than you, just so you know. So it's so important to have open communication and seek to understand. Okay, seek to understand, because oftentimes there's just misunderstanding. Okay, and I know that for me, that was the past. It was just misunderstanding. I didn't see the world that they did. But once you start to ask questions, then you can get a better understanding. And then now there's like an even keel. So this really worked for me for healthy relationships and healthy body. Okay. So I'm going to stop this to see if anyone here has any aha moments. If this is resonating with you when it comes to from panic to peace, to stop reacting and start to take a step back and go, wow, look at this, how this is playing out like a movie. Is this helping at all? Anyone have any answers? Okay, so I'm going to go to the next slide. And you guys are shy right now, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. Maybe you're thinking about your life a little bit differently now and how you're showing up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move the table to asking the right questions. So what that means is if you don't know what to do, just ask the right questions, okay? Because there is a solution out there. There's always a solution to anything, okay? You just got to ask, all right? Somebody has done it before. So find out how they've done it, okay? What we don't want to do is sit back and not move forward, okay? Be in fear. No, we're moving forward. Somebody has solved the problem. So ask the right questions, okay? You'll get better answers, okay? Even with yourself, you know, if you're looking to solve a problem, it's really the questions that you ask yourself. One example for me, I have to share, I love giving examples. When I lived in Vancouver and I met my husband, my now husband, we were dating. I visited Vancouver, from Vancouver, I visited him in Kelowna, and I'm like, I don't like Vancouver. I hate Vancouver. I hate Vancouver. And he says, tell me what you like. I said, I love Kelowna. I love Kelowna. And he says, then always think about what you want instead of what you don't want. So, you know, then ask your question, how can I live in Kelowna instead of what I hate, but what do you like? And so move towards what you like instead of what you hate. And then ask the right questions. Well, how can I move to Kelowna? And then we actually did ask that question, and my husband figured out how to get me to Kelowna and do the same work I did from Kelowna instead of Vancouver. So we did make it work, but we asked the right questions, and we were thinking about what we wanted instead of what we didn't want. So I want you to keep your eye on what you want. I want you to ask the right questions. And if you find yourself falling back, stop yourself again and go, oh, that's not a really good question. What is a good question to move me forward? Oh, I'm looking at what I don't want. Oh, what do I want? And so the more that you do that, it's almost like a matrix. You're going to draw your dream life to you. It will actually, just like this, it will actually come into your life because you're focusing on it and you're asking the right questions. Okay. That's what I want you to do, is just really like immerse yourself into that. Okay. So then the question becomes, you know, who do you want to be? So we started with, who am I? And know thyself. Okay. These are my dark things. This is what I don't like about myself. I don't like this. I want this to be this. I want my body to be this. I want to be healthy. I want to automatically have healthy habits instead of setting myself back all the time with self-sabotage. Okay, well, who do you want to be? Because really, it's like you need to figure out, who is it you want to be? Because guess what? You can be that. Okay, but what does this person do? So if you want to be a healthy person, what do healthy people do? Okay, healthy people eat healthy. Healthy people do exercise. Healthy people get a good sleep. Healthy people are honest with themselves. Okay, and they have good relationships. They don't go to the bar. They're not alcoholics. No, they're not. They go to whole food places, right? That's where they go, right? So if you want to be a healthy person, then how does a healthy person think? What do they do? Okay, that's what I want you to start thinking about. Okay, so who do you want to be? Because you can be anybody you want to be. Okay, and if there's self-doubt that comes in, fear, forget it. Where did that come from? Someone told you that? They don't know you. No, you can be whoever you want to be. You can reinvent yourself today. Okay, today you can reinvent yourself to who you want to be. It starts with self-assessing. Really look at the dark side and the good side, but really, where are you falling short? Okay, so now that you know that, then we're going to take your first step. What's going to make the biggest difference in moving ahead? And just feel the fear and do it anyway, right? Put yourself in an environment of who you want to be. So if you want to be a healthy person, have a healthy home. If you want to be a healthy person, go to healthy restaurants. If you want to be a healthy person, go to a gym. Okay, change your environment and set yourself up for success. Okay, and then before you know it, you will be exactly who you said you want to be. Put a picture of this on your wall. Put the quotes up in your environment. Be like excited about who you want to be and be that person now. Okay, I'm going to give you a really good example. This is really true. Again, all this is true, but like, this is the power in this. So for me, again, this is all about how to instantly shift your mindset to make healthy choices. On the left, you can see this literally was my vision just a year ago. Literally, this is it. I've got my circle around what you're talking about. This was two healthy, fit couple walking along the beach. They are, in their 40s, I'd say 40s, and they're healthy, they're happy, they're a couple, you can see they're sporty, they're really fit. I'm like, oh my gosh. As soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want that. I want that. So what did I do? I made it as a screen share. I put it up on my Facebook. This is what I wanted for Reese and I. This is literally the truth. A year ago, this is what I put out. The reality today, look at the picture on the right. I don't know if you can see it, but it's the same picture, but Reese and we live in Mexico on the beach. I literally made this happen. Okay. I didn't sit back. I wanted it. I went after it. It took a lot of work. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. I'm living my dream life. Okay. Because I did the work. I looked at what wasn't working. I made things work. I changed myself, and day to day, like inch by inch, step by step, just like I reversed osteoporosis, just like I reversed my disease into healthy. Now I've got my husband, I've got my kids, Tristan's moving here, the whole family. Like, it's literally, I have the healthiest, happiest family. And this was something so important, but I did a lot of work to get it. And boy, if I didn't, I don't know. I wouldn't be realizing my purpose. Okay. If I can do this, you can do it too. Okay. It just takes knowing who you are, where you want to be. Who do you want to be? Okay. So that is an absolute true story. So this was really about empowering you to take it another level, take it the next step. And maybe it's something you've been thinking about that maybe you don't think you can do it. Yes, you can. Who says you can't? What do you want? Like, take it another step. Take it a step above where you are. Okay. And do the things that I've recommended. So I know there's another level for you. So does anybody have any questions? Has this inspired you? Has this motivated you? Did you have any aha moments? Would love to hear. Are you inspired to get that next level in your life? Maybe a closer relationship, maybe a more open relationship, maybe the next 5 pounds. Maybe it's stopping an addiction that you've had for so long. Maybe you're ready for that now. It really does a shift in the mindset, because the body follows the mind. And for me, when I saw that picture of that couple on the beach, I'm like, I want that. Okay, well, how am I going to get that? So then you ask the right questions and you do the steps. And the environment matters. Okay, so hopefully I've inspired you to reach your next level, and I've given you some food for thought. And I really hope that you take the steps today to make your dream life happen to where it wants to go. And I want to thank you so much for joining today. And I will see you next Wednesday with another live training. So thank you so much for joining, and have a really good week. I hope you start journaling today. I really hope you do.